Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. For this, we're going over part 2. Might be part 3, I don't know. I'm a little on the fence on part 3, because I don't know if I have more information I want to impart. But I think part 2 is good. Of the final boss king guide. And we're going to be going over the details of the more intermediate and advanced tips of what you can do in order to get your higher scores. Now, as I mentioned in my first guide, link to that, of course, up there, as well as in the description below. This is going to be more of an advanced guide. It's not going to be going over some of the things you can do. Going over some of the things you can do as a free-to-play player, some of the things you're going to have to sacrifice, some of the things you're going to have to do in general. But without further ado, let's go and jump right into it. Also, if you guys do need to hit a beginner guide for this, this is the intermediate / advanced guide for this, or in the link in the description below, and I will of course have that available for you, and this is specifically for intermediate and advanced. So for the gear for this, for my Jericho, I RNG'd out and actually got crit damage rolls for her because I was trying to get attack rolls, but I just, I didn't end up getting this. So this is, just whatever you get, man. Eventually you get something that's stupid. And then I just have a common ring, and I'm using some crit damage pieces here, and then these are pretty crappily rolled. This actually is insanely well rolled. I actually just luck sacked this out of nowhere, and that's my best build. So I actually got good luck there, but the rest of it is pretty. So it's definitely possible to get this gear. Definitely possible. An attack bracer would be fine here too. You don't need a crit damage bracer. Attack would be fine. So for Final Boss King, there are a couple different variants that you can do, and a lot of people are doing this in the top 100 that are legit. There are people that are doing this not legit, like this person right here, not legit. This one, however, this is a legit strategy that you can do because you're able to get attack boost on the go through and get that possibly up, and then you're able to use Merlin rollbacks in the defense to get that so you continuously do damage. So in my previous video regarding the King Guide, I just wanted to let you know, all the people that may have come to the previous YouTube video and said, hey, Sekapoko, no, you're just salty. They're not cheaters. You're just mad. Netmarble, what do you have to say about this? Regarding the abnormal final boss score king. Told ya! We have confirmed that some of the users using illegal programs to obtain unnaturally high scores in Final Boss King battle. As aforementioned in our clean campaign, the use of illegal programs is a clear violation of our terms of service and is grounds for a ban. This one, no way. This one right here, this is the strategy I'm going to be using. It's something very similar to this variant. This is actually the better version of the team I'll be using today, and this is the team for the highest possible scores that I believe we can get. And this team involves Elaine, as well as Green, Elizabeth, and Jericho. The character in the backline here is going to be Jillian, and the reason Jillian is the preferred option for most players is because she's actually going to give you a very, very, very nice boost. And the boost that she's going to be giving you is 30% HP. The reason that's super important is because if you have high enough attack values on, say, your Green Liz, as well as your Lane and Jericho, you can actually get a ton of HP for your max HP. And because of that, you're actually taking significantly less damage throughout the fight as far as missing HP goes. So at the end of the fight, you actually have way more HP, and because of that, you're getting the most results. So on the score run I have right here, I actually have already completed the run, and I'll be going over this team that I used to get 2681, and I actually had one dead character on this one. So I'm going to be doing this team throughout the week and trying to get 3K plus score on this. If my Merlin survives and I can actually get more stuff, I am probably going to use something like this team, or potentially I will be switching out Merlin back to Elaine. And my Elaine right now is level 70. I don't have a 75 Elaine, and I don't have enough equipment on my characters to do enough damage. The problem is that Elaine is getting patience on the final phase, and I can potentially get a little bit better here, but doing enough damage to go through the 50,000 defense is very, very tricky. So hopefully I can eventually get that, but my RNG has not been successful enough to do that with a level 70 lane. With a level 75, I might be able to get it done. But my Merlin is a little better, makes it a little bit easier. If I had a 6 out of 6 Elaine, this would actually be about the same as using a Merlin, because Elaine does a lot of damage to the enemy boss. So if you're going to be using the Elaine strat, I kind of recommend here using an ultimate up Elaine, because then you're doing more damage to the first phase. It's not 100% necessary, but if you are going for the top 10, top 100 spots, it will probably be necessary. If you're looking for like just a top 5% score, usually about 2,500 plus to maybe 3,000 is where you're going to need to be, I would say, at the end of this, in order to make sure that you get in the top 5%. 3,000 would be 100% guaranteed you're going to be in the top 5%, because there's very few people who are able to hit that anyways. And then the top 2,500 might be top 5%. It really just depends on RNG. and what's going to be going forward, and how people really care. Right here, this team is very similar to the one I'm using. There is a team, there was a team in the top 10 that was using this, and that is possible. This team right here is the premier team. I was using this team, but I just couldn't hit the combat class requirement that I needed, so I'm using Merlin instead for now. And if I can actually get it done, the Elaine will be better. And I have tested with Elaine, and Elaine is a little bit more consistent. The issue for this team, though, is that people have been asking me, hey, I really don't want to build out Elaine because I'm not sure if she's going to be necessary in future content. So if you're a free-to-play player, these are the characters I recommend you build out. Free-to-play teams, all the characters in these teams are very, very valuable. Green Elizabeth is a very valuable unit for Grey Hell Demon going forward, so it does have future viability. Green Merlin, of course, is a very good unit, one of the top units in the entire game, and of course Green Jericho is going to help you for Guild Boss, and she is very free to play friendly because she's on almost every single banner in the game, if not every banner in the game. And the Green Elizabeth is a very good option to pull here too, put it here too, because the healing and the pushing here. So maxing her out is a very viable option. The only character that you're going to have a little bit of trouble with in getting all the pendants for, etc., is going to be Green Jillian. And Green Jillian is not really used too much outside of this fight, but you could potentially use her in PvP and other situations if you wanted to go for a green HP based team in the future. And she does have a little bit more HP than both Twig God and Marmus, or Marmite. So if you did want a little bit more combat class on a green version team for one of those high HP teams, she is the alternative to those two characters for green, so she is also good for PvP in that particular situation. For best possible points, though, you're going to be able to get 190 points from this. You potentially could get the ultimate gauge removal points here. I still have not gotten this point value yet because Merlin does not do enough ult rollback for that to happen, but you do get the 190 here, and you, of course, do get the remove buffs from the green list. And the nice thing, because if you cleanse one time when the enemy has more than one buff on, that triggers instantly. So no matter what, when you have the cleanse, it works. The other question I get asked, hey Sekapoko, should you use Escanor instead of Jericho? And the reason I decided to use Jericho instead of Escanor is my Jericho actually has a 6 out of 6 ultimate. And if she does crit, she does a very large amount of damage because it's going to be 840% with this ultimate here. And if you do use the combo attack you're going to have with Gila, it's 960%. And that's because if you use the spike damage along with it, it does a large amount of damage. With Escanor, you potentially could get more damage on Escanor if you have a 6/6 Escanor, if you crit, but it's impossible to crit on Escanor because, you know, it's Escanor. You know, it's like very low crit. Jericho can get crit though, so I don't think you can break about. You would probably have to break about 450,000 damage on Escanor on the final fight in order to hit top score. So if you're asking me, should you use Escanor? It's possible to beat this with Escanor. Is it as good? No, it is definitely not as good as Jericho. Jericho is the premier unit for this fight and for high score because she can do the most damage, and that's the only reason. What do we get? What do we get? 26, baby, with the dead Merlin. Dead Merlin, I got 26. Totally possible to hit 3K if she lives. If she lives, 3K plus, easy. We got this. Easy, we got this. 6K, totally doable. 3K is totally fucking doable, by the way. Totally fucking doable. Round 79. Fight! Finally able to do this with attack food. Of course. Netmarble. Why you crash, bro? RIP 50 stamina, by the way, right? Oh, Otto. You have been the death of me many a time, Otto. Not today, sir. Not today. I have beaten you, Otto. There, get on my level. Okay, so Hazel Chastifo, Hyzat Hyde, Hadan Garden. And then he goes Kora de Dolda, and then you go, no bro, you are not Kora de Doldaing me, I will clap you. Okay, so now we have the heal, okay? We've rolled back the characters on the sides here. Now they will have less defense, and then we go bam, and we actually do damage, okay? Very important to do that, okay? We have the D ranker and the ult reducer here. So what we're gonna do, very important here, is we're gonna cleanse this dude, I'm gonna D-rank and D-ulti this dude. Okay? We're gonna cleanse. We're gonna D-rank this dude. And then we're gonna, I don't fucking know, just Jericho, I guess. Cleanse. Very important to cleanse. Okay, then we gotta D-rank the dude. It also lowers his ultimate level. Kablam, kablam. Okay? And then we also hit him with a Jericho. Okay? Very important to do all three of those. Now we have an Elaine ultimate up. And we're gonna have ult reduction as well. So we're gonna go ahead and use an Elaine ulti, use a heal, and then reduce the ranks of the skill cards again. Very important. Unfortunately, we are not getting any other Jericho cards, but it's okay. So we're gonna go like this, kablam, heal back up, and then we're gonna use a D-ranker again. Okay? So there's the Elaine damage, bam. It's in the cleansing, heals everybody back to full. Also gets the Jericho ulti up for me, and we're gonna go kablam, kablam, okay? Now we've dissolved him, D-ranked him, and he's going down, baby. OP to raise, going to the boom, boom, baby. Very important to watch out for those. Okay? We're gonna have to take an ultimate here, but that's okay, because we have heals and we should be fine. Hopefully he doesn't have a 3-star card and an ultimate here, which would be very problematic. Well, he doesn't have an ultimate right now, so that's slightly problematic as well. Okay, we got this, kablam. All right, and we got a heal up here, and then using another Jericho card, doing some damage. All right, so now we won't be able to do any damage to him unless we D-rank him first. Luckily, we got a D-rank, and we got another D-rank. So I'm going to end up using a... I think I'm going to end up not tanking this ulti. And we're just going to go ahead and go with a 2-star bleed here for a little bit extra damage on him. Okay, he's almost at max defense, so we're going to have to try to D-rank him here, and we're going to go for the heal. So here we go. Barely any damage, as you can see, with the attack food. And then we got a lane coming in with about 12k attack with attack food. Boom, boom, barely any damage, just enough to get a buy. And we got the 12 orb requirement. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move the Elaine over here. Okay. I'm going to D-rank the side guys, and then I'm going to ultimate. Okay, moving the Elaine over, D-rank the side guys, and then ultimate. And this cleanses the guy. It probably won't roll him back because he's a patience, but now the defense is a little bit lower. And now we've cleansed off his buff, so his ultimate should do significantly less damage here. Alright. Now, this is the hardest part of the fight. I have to kill this guy this turn. Kablam. I'm just going to go to the next phase. So if I go 2 turn on the next phase, that might work. We'll see. Okay, so we got 3 3-stars here. So we're gonna go with this. Okay, I'm gonna go with this and this. Super low HP. I did not get any merges that I needed, but luckily everything's on a 1-star here, so I think we might survive. I don't know. I mean. If it's gonna go for Liz every hit here, right? Or I don't actually know. It probably is gonna go for Liz every hit, but I think he's gonna kill her. If it doesn't crit her, maybe he'll survive. Maybe. Oh my God, we survived! No way. See, okay, that's how you break 3K. All right, so first off, my buddy Arfs asked me to go over his final boss king guide, and we're gonna be going over a very advanced guide. So I'm gonna check it out real quick. Okay, so first off, he's going over recommended team comps, and of course the recommended team comps, this is for more whale-esque, and I'm going to go over them for the more free-to-play player and what you could actually do, or the more budget player. He's got Jericho, as well as Merlin and Helbram, and Red Elizabeth. I'm guessing the team comp here kind of revolves around you doing a rush comp strategy with Red Elizabeth healing you the entire time with her passive. The link units are going to be Gila, Arthur, Gustav, and Meliodas. Obviously, SR Gila for 95% of players is going to be better. SR Arthur will also be pretty good for most players if you do want to max out his ultimate and everything else. But if you already started working on your SSR Arthur and he's at least 5 out of 6 ultimate, go ahead and use that. For Hellbrum, use Gustav. I personally would be using an SR Jericho instead of Hellbrum. I wouldn't be using... I definitely would not be using Gustav because I don't really care too much about his ultimate damage, but if you do care about ultimate damage on Hellbrum, I guess that would be better. For the linking combos, I would be using, say, Jericho to get myself a little bit more damage. But if he's more looking to get just ultimate damage, then I guess that would be the only viability for doing Hellbrum with Gustav. The last is going to be Red SR Elizabeth with Blue Meliodas, of course, and that, of course, is the best way to go. The survivability of this team is a little bit okay. The main issue I can see with this team is you would probably have to rush with this team in order to get this done well. I personally wouldn't be running this team on hell difficulty. I may run this on extreme difficulty if I was farming points, because this would be a very fast team and very safe, because all I would be relying on is using Hellbrum to get a buff and using Jericho to do damage while also using Merlin to sustain and roll back. And that way I can actually just go through the first 2 phases very quickly, and on this final phase I'll be able to just rush through it. This is very similar to my original team where I was using a buffing character. I was using a debuffing character with green SR Lizhawk, so it's really similar to that idea. Next team on the list is going to be Jericho, Elaine, and Elizabeth. This is actually the team I'm going to be using in the video as well. This is probably the min-max team, as it says here. Jericho, Elaine, and Elizabeth are the best 3 units, and then Jillian is the best supporting unit for these characters. First off, Jericho is going to be supported by Gila. I, of course, will use Red SR Gila. Elaine's going to be supported by King. I don't know about King. I ended up just using like a 75 SR Lizhawk, or whatever SR you have that has the most stats that you can actually use. If you have to say a really good SR Jericho because you've been working on your Coin Shop Bond, that would work too. You can use SR Jericho on the same team as a linking unit for Elaine, that would work too. And then I guess Elizabeth with Meliodas, and then Jillian with Slater. I personally am not using Slater as a linking unit because I haven't built out either SR Slater or SSR Slater, but if you have built out one of those characters, then it would be really good to use if you have a maxed out ultimate on the SR Slater. Personally, I would actually be using something that would give more combat class to my supporting unit, like Gil Thunder, just because my Gil Thunder is 75 and I have 6 starts, and that's what I use. This team compo is built to keep Jericho alive and get as high score as possible in hell. Elaine is essential. I wouldn't say that. I actually would say that Elaine is not essential for a max score team. You can actually get a very, very, very high score with Merlin instead of Elaine, and you can do pretty well with Merlin on this composition instead of Elaine. However, you can't get the rank down points, and it's a little bit riskier, and I do end up using a Merlin comp. Overall, it's okay. I would say this comp definitely heavily relies on Jericho being at least 5 out of 6 ultimate. If you don't have at least 5 out of 6 ultimate, it's going to be very difficult for you to clear the boss in 1 turn. 4-6, you probably do it though. I think you do it 4-6. Next up is the Flex team. It's basically the same exact team except using Escanor instead of Jericho. I would say this is he says it's a very expensive ultimate thing. This team is basically for those of you who pulled very, very, very heavily on the Escanor banner and have gotten multiple dupes of Escanor, Kabuki. And if you wanted to use this team, this would do pretty well if you do end up hitting the boss, because you know you're Kabuki and you end up pulling 5 out of 6 of your Escanor. He can't be fucked to do PvE because he's only about the PvP. But anyways, I digress. But that's one way you could do it. I would say this is pretty good. Escanor, he said, as Arsene with the buff removal is really good. He also goes over keeping your Jericho at maximum HP, making sure you have good cosmetics on. There are SR cosmetics that you can purchase free to play. This one is a free to play cosmetic from SR Blue Jericho. This one is a red SR Jericho. This one is the purchased one option. This is the one I was telling people to pick up early on. You could make the option pick this up. And this is just the green Jericho. You can basically get away with 3 UR costumes and 2 SR costumes. That's fine. I usually go with that. Headpieces, I ended up picking this one up, and then these 2 are free to play friendly. This one is not, and it was the one that came in the event. And then there is another cosmetic that did come out that is a UR cosmetic. Another cosmetic that came out, but I honestly only went with just these two, this one, and then I bought this one for aesthetics because it's Jericho of the Hidden Leaf. In his high score strategy here, he's hitting over 740,000 damage on his things. Honestly, my gear is nowhere near this good. I'm happy if I break like 500,000. He also has a free-to-play strategy, which is with Jericho, Merlin, and Helbram. This is the same level of free-to-play viability as the other team. I mean, the thing with Helbram and Elaine is they're both really free-to-play friendly because you can pick both of them up with gold coins, and both of these characters are very free-to-play friendly. The only character on any team that's not very free-to-play friendly is the green SSR Liz, and the thing about her, in the coin shop right now, I definitely wouldn't recommend picking her up, but if you don't have her, you have the option to pick her up if you were looking to get a min-max team. Just letting you know, you are going to sacrifice resources to do those. So if you're free to play, I don't recommend doing it, but if you do want to pick it up, it is an option. But this whole team relies here on extreme difficulty, on just getting you through the content and getting it done quickly. If you're going to be doing, say, a hell strategy and you have a 5 out of 6 Jericho and your Jericho is not, and your Jericho is actually able to clear hell in one tap, you can actually clear the final boss in one hit. These are 2 max score teams that people are using. The Escanor strategy I'm not a big fan of because of how heavily you have to invest into the Escanor banner. But if you get really lucky, go for it. And you can see Arvs here has got a 32-32 rating. I'm gonna see if we can blow that out of the water real quick. And what's up, Arvs? Where you at? All right, the strategy for Hell is going to complete all the missions below while doing any minor optimization and squeeze as many points as you can. The thing is, like with any of these, it's always going to be RNG dependent. Decreasing the enemies, the way the fight works on Hell difficulty is you're only going for the maximum score, and because you're going to use recovery skills throughout the fight with your green Elizabeth, you're going to use rank down skills on the lane in order to get yourself, in order to make sure that happens. And what's really unfortunate is if you wanted to use the rank down skills and get the rank down skills ability up multiple times, you definitely don't want the rank down skills to merge because you want to use as many rank downs as possible. But if that's the case, you're gonna have to eat an ultimate or two. So you have to actually kind of play with RNG and figure out if it's better to take the ultimate by just ranking down with the level 1 rank down, or using a level 2 rank down to not take the ultimate, depending on how many buffs the boss has. And then you're also going to need to decrease enemy ultimate gauge by 12 orbs by the end of the run. And that's actually pretty easy to do with the lane because she actually reduces everybody on the field by 3. And if you ever do a rank 2 rank down, then it does count for the dissolve here as well. You also have to remove 3 enemy buffs, and if you're using green SSR Liz, that you just done really quickly whenever the boss has more than 3 buffs, cleanse done. As you can see, here's the full point list of what you can actually obtain. And the ones that really matter are the ones at the very end here. Additional points provided by surviving HP's heroes. Very important one, you have to have high HP at the end of the run. Additional points for proportional remaining HP right here. So you have to have all surviving heroes, high HP at the end of the run. Your team has to have, you actually get points higher for proportion to your team's combat class. So if your combat class is actually too high, you actually don't get as many points, I think. And so the closer you are to the actual cap on points, it's perfect. Additional points proportional to the great team damage dealt against the enemy, and point deduction proportional to turns used. Maybe you get points for more combat class, or is it too less combat class? We'll see. Alright guys, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like and subscribe. If you want to see more content on Final Boss King, just let me know. I'm going to be live on Twitch trying to hit a little bit higher on the score performance, of course. And we're going to be doing PvP throughout the week with a couple of different characters. So if you want to check that out, twitch.tv/Sekapoko. All been showing up in droves. We're getting like 800 to 1,000 people every day. So that's insane. Thank you guys so much for the support and coming out. But again, have a great rest of the day, guys. Peace.